Hey guys, it's Leah, Paper Beats Rock Designs, and I have a quick mixed media project here to show you using some Oddball stamps. We have Creepy Cute Chronicles edition number 97 right there, You Color Me Happy, which is a spray can, and Rosy, which is stamp number 528. She also comes with a little unicorn who is not shown right there, but he will be on the tag with her. Some deco art modeling paste and some mixed media paper. It's actually just from the kids section at Walmart. These stencils here came in a pack with, I think, 8 altogether. I grabbed 3 different packs, so I'm not sure exactly how many were in each one. I want to say 8, maybe 10. But I grabbed some out. These ones right here that are actually for working out, but they have these bodies on there, and to me it kind of looked kind of medical, so I put some modeling paste through that stencil and did 2 bodies at the bottom and 2 bodies at the top. I didn't make you wait and watch me do all of the bodies because I was, I don't know, kind of finicky with the top. I always work backwards from what I should, so I should have went from the top to the bottom, and instead I went from the bottom to the top, so it was kind of hard to get those top ones on there. The bottom one actually came out a little too perfect, so I have some spots I want to kind of mess up right in between. It says like bust, waist, and something, I don't know. So I wanted to mush out those words so you really couldn't tell what it said. And then I went back over to those stencils and noticed some smaller days of the week. Now my project is going for a quarantine kind of project, so I wanted to go with like days and numbers and medical kind of thing, so that's why I went with the bodies. That other stencil over there reminded me of a DNA double helix, so that's why I grabbed that little design in the corner. So I also have this little piece of mixed media paper that's just cut down to artist trading card size, and I put the days of the week through that. I wish I would have remembered to put one of the bodies on there, and I totally forgot, but that's okay. It was so small, a lot of this gets covered up anyway. It's always fun to play with your supplies, you know. So I put away my modeling paste and let that dry. I don't know what happened to the beginning of this, but for the most part, this is all I did. This is just my second layer of doing it. So I came through with some color, and then came through with my spray gun of water and let the spray gun kind of push the water around, or push the color around, and get kind of a abstract watercolor effect. Now I'm just going through with some blues and doing the same thing. Again, I wanted it to kind of look medical, and so I was thinking red and blue. It does kind of look like blood when I splatter the red, but I don't know, I'm okay with that because that's, I don't know, kind of what I was going for was a real medical feel. So I was going over the trading card as well with some of the blue and then some of the red, and then getting a lot of water and letting it kind of spread around. I loved how the splatters looked on each other, like how the blue looked on the red and how the red looked on the blue. It looked really nice. It kind of nicely contaminated each other. I came through with my heat gun a couple of times because I'm super impatient. I wanted to get this done pretty quickly. Also, it was storming really hard when I started this, and then it got worse as I went on. I actually had to stop because I got a tornado warning that was pretty close to my house, one of the closest ones I've ever gotten to my house. And I do have a part of the video, oh, there's my other girl that's all colored up like the background now. But I have another part of the video that has a sound on so you can hear the rain behind me. I came through with this sponge first, but it was too big, and I couldn't find a smaller one, so I just went and grabbed a trusty makeup sponge, and then went and put on that pattern that reminded me of the DNA double helix. And just kind of went in some random areas. I didn't want to totally cover up the bodies with this, but... And then because I went off a couple times, I just decided to use a sponge to make a few lines on there, make it intentional. And I did the same thing on the little piece, which is what the purple or purpley girl is going on. I thought about using the 1 and the 4, but it was just too big. So I went back over to those stencils, and I found a bunch of numbers for your like calendaring. Those are all stencils actually for, like, they were in the planner section of Walmart. So I was really surprised when I found them, but now is when I'm going through with some Heidi Swap screen printing ink in silver, I believe. And in a bit, it's gonna switch over and show you guys what I'm hearing and how bad the rain was getting. So like I said, I got a tornado warning that was the closest that I had ever gotten to my house, and every time I had updated it, it just kept getting closer. And you know, they tell you to, if you hear the hail, then that's when you should really take it seriously. And out in my cabin, I have a tin roof, and I can't tell the difference between hail and giant raindrops, so I decided to pack it up and go inside for a little bit. And here is the next morning after I've let it all dry. Lots of texture, and I love it. I wish I would have done more splatters of the blue and red, though, next time. Now I'm just going through with a painter's pen, and instead of using that stencil with the polka dots on it, I am just painting on a bunch of dots and circles. My reasoning behind that, it was reminding me of like germs, so another little medical thing I wanted to put on there. If I could have like drawn a virus, I probably would have done that, but I would have had to look it up, and I was too lazy for that. Now I use that Artsy like sparkle fine tip or brush tip pen, and drew on a heart and some little just like lines on one of the body's chests. And then I'm coming through and drawing a bunch of teeny tiny little hearts around the whole thing. To me, it all just looked really vascular, especially the little human forms. So I go through and make little dots everywhere, and that's just with my fine line Sharpie. And I have this tag template cut out already, and I decided, you know, what part of the paper I like the best, and I went with the upper left hand side. Then I went back to my trading card and did the same circles and dots So I stayed a little cohesive. I know there's a couple of things that I missed doing on the artist trading card because I just, kept going on that tag. So I went and grabbed my Distress Oxide ink in Black Soot and went around. That's what I'm doing off camera right now, is going around the artist trading card, just defining that edge a little bit, giving it a nice kind of a smoky look. And then I go back to those stencils again and I find these hearts, which I think is funny because that little doodly one that I did on the person on the tag is kind of what I stenciled on right here. And I really thought that was pretty cute. So it has another little teeny tiny heart on there and I didn't want to get anything else. So I went around with that little teeny heart and just covered the other things up with my finger. I don't mind having inky fingers for a little bit. There's always ink or paint or something on my hand, so. Her head kind of covered up on the heart, so I wanted to bring one down a little further and one down below the spray can. And then I do that to the tag as well. Now, the girl stamp here is Rosy. She's stamp number 528 from Oddball Stamps. And that spray can down there is from the Creepy Cute Chronicles, which is Lizzie Love's weekly newsletter. It comes out every Friday night. And it includes a free stamp. If you're signed up for the premium membership, it comes with extra goodies, usually a stamp and a sentiment, sometimes the stamp and a fully colored image, which is how this spray can comes. There's a fully colored image that's really, really cute. It's rainbow colored. And I did mine in just the stamp so I could color it the way I wanted and change it from a paint can to a can of disinfectant. And I think I fully achieved what I was going for. I just wanted to, I don't know, kind of document, the craziness around ourselves. But me, myself, I've just been cuddled up and comfortable and hanging out at the house. Got lots of snacks around me, so I'm just quarantined and cuddled up, like the tag says. So I go through with those happy face stamps and make a couple of lines and then go back around the tag with the teeny tiny heart too, because it's adorable. After I was all done, I saw that trio of hearts down in between my pointer and thumb, and I realized I could have made it a lot easier on myself by using those trios all over the place. But I like what I created in the end, so I'm happy with it. So a couple more hearts and then I go around the tag, defining the edge as well with that black soot. I wanted the bodies to stand out a little bit more, so I came back through with a little bit of the black set and then just like wiped it off so you can see a little bit more of their shapes defined a little bit. Then I brought out some washi and some more texture paste. These washies, again, just reminded me of being nice and comfy. So I have ones with coffee cups on there. It is also raining like crazy still over here in Texas. Like, it's just been like that for the last couple of weeks. So I've constantly had coffee or soup or hot cocoa or tea. It's not cold, but I like having a warm something when it's raining. It just makes the comfiness more comfy. So that's what all those little cups remind me of. Brought in a heart washi just to echo the hearts that are around, and like I said, this whole thing was very cardiovascular. The stenciled images and everything like that just really reminded me of that, and very sciencey, and that's what I was really going for. I tried ripping this one down the middle, but it just didn't really want to, and it kept just ripping off, so whatever, I went with a bigger one on that one. Then I grabbed one of those glitter pastes. This one is by Bo Bunny. I cannot remember the name of the color. I know I got it at Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going along the edges of the washi for two reasons. One was to add a little bit more texture, a little bit more color, and some sparkle on there. And another one was just to hold the washi down. I know that my watercolors are just cheap ones from Daiso, so they get kind of chalky, and I know it's really hard to have things stick to it. A lot of times I have to go back over or underneath washi with some type of wet glue to make it stick a little better. So I was just kind of going over these and making sure it's kind of covered up so they can't peel up on me. Now I am doing the same thing with this putting on the glitz from Shimmers, and this one is going to dry iridescent. It goes on white, but it dries iridescent, and it does kind of pull up some of the inks and watercolors that are underneath it, but I'm kind of okay with that. It just makes everything kind of meld together a little bit more, in my opinion. Okay, after I let that dry, now I'm coming through with these little puffy stickers, some house die cuts, and some other little bits that I want to layer up on my tag in my artist trading card. So I go for these little houses first. I put a little silver one on one side of her. One of them has blue text, some light blue text, and a little red house. Then I go through my thread and grab some white thread that goes behind the disinfectant. Some blue goes behind her head, and a little bit of red behind her little unicorn Twinky. I put some foam tape behind her and hot glue all of that down. And on my artist trading card, I use another little silver house. I cut it down. It's a little too long. I just kind of need the top part. And I take that little piece of border punched paper and rip it down so it's a little bit thinner as well. And glue both of those guys down. And now I glue down that little strip of hearts up by her head and go for the puppy stickers. I grab a little spray bottle and stick it between her and the unicorn, and a little pail of water and stick it behind the disinfectant. And that's it. Here are some close-ups. I love the way it came out. I did stamp out the sentiments, quarantine and cuddle up, and the other one right there. And I went around both of them with a artsy sparkle pen as well, and this one says disinfect or don't come over. And I think it looks awesome. I love the way that spray can looks. A little skull in there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Have an awesome day.